Welcome to the Unified Command Press Conference. During today's presentation, all participants will be in a listen-only mode. Following the presentation, the conference will be open for questions. If you would like to ask a question, please press the star followed by the 1 on your touch-tone phone. If you would like to withdraw your question, please press the star followed by the 2. If you're using speaker equipment today, you will need to lift the headset before making your selection. This conference is being recorded today, Thursday, January 3rd of 2013. And now I'd like to turn the conference over to Ms. Amy Midget. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming. I am Amy Midget with the U.S. Coast Guard. I'm the Public Information Officer for this response. Today, I have members of the Unified Command with me to provide an update on the response to the Kulluk incident. We will pretty much the same format that we've been using. Each member will have some opening comments to make, and then we will open it up for a 30-minute question and answer period. Once we open that session, please, we're going to go back and forth, try to take turns between the phones and the folks in the room, get as many people, questions answered as possible. In order to make sure that we get as many of you in as we can, please limit yourself to one question and one follow-up. Raise your hand and identify give your name, please, and your affiliation. With that, we'll go ahead and turn it over to...
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Sean Churchfield. I'm the Alaska Venture Operations Manager for Shell, and I'm the Incident Commander. I want to thank all of the responders that continue to work so hard throughout this event. The Unified Command remains focused on the safety of personnel and the environment in extremely challenging conditions. Our strong collaborative efforts continue and are critical to the success of our overall response to this incident. Today, we can confirm the cullet remains upright and stable, and there is no evidence of sheen in the vicinity. Yesterday's assessment by the 5-person team on board the cullet provided valuable information that is being used for recovery planning purposes. Findings include some wave damage to the top sides of the vessel, that a number of watertight hatches have been breached, causing water damage inside, and the team has secured some of the open hatches. The emergency and service generators have been damaged. An emergency towing system has been placed on the deck, and specialized salvage equipment has been ordered and is en route. The assessment by a team of salvage experts placed on board this morning is ongoing. The information gathered is being evaluated and options are being developed. Precautionary plans are in place should they be needed. Oil spill response equipment continues to be deployed as a contingency. Staging areas are being established in Seward, Kodiak, and Old Harbor. Vessel-based response equipment is on scene with additional assets en route. Additional overflights are being conducted to monitor and assess the cullet. I want to reiterate that there is no limitation on resources, personnel, or equipment being deployed as part of the response and recovery activities. There is still a lot of work to do to bring a safe conclusion to this incident, but we are pleased with the progress to date. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Captain Paul Mehler, the Coast Guard Federal Unseen Coordinator for this response. First of all, I want to acknowledge the concern the people of Alaska have expressed about the seriousness of this incident. And I want to reassure you that we share your concerns and are committed to seeing this through. From a Coast Guard community perspective, we are very conscious of our responsibility to the people of Alaska. We are grateful for our acceptance and the trust we enjoy in the communities that we serve. And we want to see this recovery effort brought to a swift and safe conclusion. I'd like to ensure an understanding of my role as the Federal Unseen Coordinator. Within the National Response System, it is my job to ensure industry, in this case Shell, provides sufficient resources during response efforts. If at any point I am not convinced of an appropriate response, I will direct all actions I feel necessary to this operation. Shell is taking an active role in this response, and I will continue to maintain oversight on all those activities. Safety of the response personnel remains our #1 priority. The very nature of recovery operations in difficult weather conditions must be managed without compromising safety. It is difficult to put a timeline on how long this will take. Understand that as recovery develops, it may be necessary to alter plans and to address new issues and concerns. Over the past 24 hours, Coast Guard helicopters lowered response personnel to the Kulluk in order to make initial assessments. Understand that these observations are still being evaluated by salvage teams. Although we continue to see no signs of product, there is still much work ahead to determine the Kulluk's condition. The Coast Guard cutter Alex Haley is currently serving as the on-scene commander, maintaining a maritime safety zone and providing vital on-scene conditions to the Unified Command. The safety zone I signed yesterday will be maintained until recovery operations are completed and hazards to the public and vessel no longer exist. Additionally, the Coast Guard has staged multiple near-shore boats in the Kodiak area to assist in this response effort. Following a request I made, investigators are en route from the Coast Guard Center of Excellence in New Orleans to conduct the Coast Guard Marine Casualty Investigation. I want to ensure you that these investigators are amongst the Coast Guard's finest. Understand we are still in an active response, but I've taken these steps to initiate a Coast Guard investigation, and results will be made public upon completion. To conclude, today the Coast Guard is transporting additional salvage team members to the site for this continued critical assessment. I want to emphasize the tremendous efforts of everyone involved in this response. There's more than 600 smart and dedicated people from all over the world working to bring this recovery effort to a safe conclusion. Thank you.
That's right. Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Russel. I'm the State On-Scene Coordinator with the Alaska Department of Environmental Conservation. Yesterday, the Unified Command went on an overflight to see for ourselves the general area and the conditions our teams were working under. In the overflight, we did not observe any environmental impact from this incident, and observations today confirm that those conditions remain unchanged. While we still have no indications of environmental impact, this does not mean that our response efforts are being reduced or in any way mitigated. Response planning, logistics, mobilization efforts are ongoing. The state is working to ensure that response capabilities are in place to protect our sensitive habitats in the area. Task forces have been established. Response techniques are being developed and staged in Kodiak and elsewhere, the city of Kodiak, I'm sorry, and elsewhere. Of course, actual response efforts need to be based on the weather conditions that were there. Yesterday, we had seas approximately 12, 16 feet, winds 35 knots. It looks like we're going to have a weather window in the coming days, but we have to be ready in any case. The Unified Command is working with representatives from the Alaska Department of Fish and Game, the Department of Natural Resources, to anticipate any impact to the fisheries, habitats, or other natural resources. Specifically, the State Historic Preservation Office has been enlisted to advise on areas that we know are in the area that are extremely culturally sensitive. The state continues to be committed to the response and dedicated to representing the concerns of the Alaska residents. I would like to take this time, since we have not had him here with the Unified Command at a press conference before, I would like to introduce the local on-scene coordinator for this event, Duane with the Kodiak Island Group.
member of the Unified Command, I'm here representing Kodiak communities. My role is to bring concerns and suggestions of the affected communities to the Unified Command on how best to manage the response. The people who live in the community have local knowledge and perspectives that are valuable considerations in the decision-making process. Since the Kulluk ran aground, the Unified Command has made contact with major stakeholder groups, have been conducting significant outreach, sharing information and listening to community concerns. In addition, members of the Unified Command have held daily conference calls with community leaders and with groups like fishermen, native corporations, and elected officials. A meeting in Old Harbor has been planned for the past 2 days, but unfortunately has been postponed due to weather. Unified Command is planning a presentation this evening to the Kodiak Island Borough Assembly. This presentation will be broadcast over public radio station KMXT, and we'll also be holding a community meeting on Sunday at 7:30 at the Kodiak High School. A representative from the Alaska Department of Environmental Conservation will be at both of these meetings to answer questions. A benefit of this outreach has been the support of the people of Kodiak Island, especially the residents of Old Harbor and Akiak. Today, the Old Harbor Native Corporation endorsed the concept of the Unified Command attempting to remove the rig from the shoreline, and the Unified Command appreciates this support. I'd like to encourage anyone in Kodiak who has concerns or questions to get in touch with the Unified Command. A toll-free call-in line as well as a local number have been established for members of the community who may have questions or concerns regarding the incident. Those numbers are 907-771-7910 for the local number, and the toll-free number is 1-866-771-7910.
Good afternoon. My name is Tommy Travis. I represent Noble Drilling. Noble Drilling is a drilling contractor on contract to Shell. Noble Drilling is here to help support Shell and the Unified Command as requested by the Unified Command. We will continue in this role as long as our assistance is needed. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I actually need to ask our first two speakers to review their remarks again. There apparently was some issues with the sound in terms of the recording. If I could please ask these folks to please redo their remarks for the sake of people calling in on the phone.